Has made major strides in renewable energy, with nearly 20% of our electricity now generated by solar, wind, and hydropower. We are proud to be the first Central Asian nation with a national emissions trading system and a formed party to the Paris Agreement. But our greatest hope lies in the power of the youth. Through national programs like Zashiel L, thousands of Kazakh youth activity engaged in reforestation, climate innovation, and climate action. With the support from the UNDP and GEF, we are building the next generation of climate leaders. Kazakhstan calls for the creation.
30 seconds more.
Kazakhstan calls for the creation of a Central Asian Youth Climate Network and a Global Youth Climate Change Innovation found to empower youth, especially in developing regions. Together, through youth, innovation, and cooperation, we can secure a greener, more resilient future. Thank you.
Delegates of Zambia, the floor is yours. Please, when you're coming, you come on your placard. Aye. Honorable Chair and other delegates, the Republic of Zambia is committed to achieving universal health coverage by 2030. Zambia's health system is shaped by a decentralized public health care model, and Zambia has expanded its HIV/AIDS treatment program by improving child immunization rates. Nevertheless, many Zambians, especially in rural rural areas continue to lack access to basic health services. Zambia faces issues of limited rural healthcare access. Over 55% of Zambia's population live in rural areas where healthcare centers is often over 10 kilometers away and transportation is unavailable and unreliable. Another issue Zambia is facing is health workforce shortages. Zambia has estimated 12 doctors per 10,000 people. Well, Zambia encourages collaboration with private health providers and NGOs to develop diagnostic centers, supplies, and digital platforms. Leveraging digital health technologies, Zambia supports expanding for medicine, mobile health apps, and SMS-based disease alerts. In conclusion, through stronger health systems, digital transformation, and community empowerment, the country aims to make quality healthcare accessible and affordable for all. Thank you. Delegates of Ukraine, the floor is yours.
Services. The humanitarian crisis has disproportionately impacted women, children, and elderly, and persons with chronic conditions. Despite extraordinary challenges, Ukraine remains committed to innovation and healthcare equity by implementing cutting-edge technologies and community-focused preventive measures.
Delegates of Ukraine, you have 1 minute more. Would you like to give it to the next delegate? Delegates of Uruguay.
Industrialization has historically been a key driver of economic transformation and job creation. However, traditional models often rely on extract industries and unsustainable practices that have contributed to the environment, education, and social inequalities. In several years, the global constitute has shifted towards promoting industrial growth that's both inclusive and environmental responsibility. Uruguay's economy is primarily developed by culture, services, and growing technology sector. While the country has achieved relative microeconomic sustainability, it faces structural limitations, including industrial diversification and job creation in high productivity sectors. Uruguay supports global and mutual cooperation aimed at fostering sustainability industrialization. The country has already taken significant steps such as encouraging public-private partnership in technology, biotechnology, and clean energy industries. Creating special economic zones to attract economic economically responsible foreign investment. UN maintains that
15 seconds.
UN maintains the development strategy must integrate environmental policy, social inclusion, and technological process. Thank you.
Delegate from Tunisia. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, education is the cornerstone of a nation's development, empowering individuals and fostering societal progress. In Tunisia, the pursuit of quality education for all children is a national priority, deeply intertwined with the country's journey towards modernization and social progress. Access to good schooling can shape a person's entire life, opening doors to opportunities and helping them contribute meaningfully to their community. Since gaining independence, Tunisia has consistently prioritized education, making significant efforts to develop its system and achieve high enrollment rates, particularly at primary level, especially when considering diverse geographical, economic, and social factors within the country. Despite Tunisia's commendable progress in expanding educational access, particularly with compulsory education for children aged 6 to 16, significant disparities in quality and learning outcomes persist. One major challenge is the divide between urban and urban schools often benefit from better infrastructure, physical tools, and highly qualified teachers. The curriculum is another area of concern, often criticized by emphasizing rote memorization and over critical thinking, digital literacy, and problem-solving skills. Delegates of China, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chair and other delegates, the People's Republic of China firmly believes that education is central to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 4, quality education. China supports UNESCO's mission to promote inclusive, equitable, and innovative educational systems globally. Sustainable development demands a transformative education system that integrates environmental awareness, social equity, and economic responsibility. However, disparities in access to quality education persist, particularly in developing regions. At the same time, innovation in education through technology, new pedagogical models, and global cooperation offers new pathways to address these inequalities. China has made substantial progress in expanding access to quality education across urban and rural areas. Digital platforms like Smart Education of China and National Cloud Platform have played a key role in ensuring educational continuity, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, globally, over 250 million children
Delegates, your time is up. Delegates of India, the floor is yours.
There's an inseparable link between peace, stability, and sustainable. Conflict both interior and interstate disrupts governance, displace pollution, and hinder development. Development efforts, Israel-Palestine crisis, and fragile states across the Sahel. Across the Sahel have had India believes that the country's tourism is essential to achieving lasting peace. As a victim of cross-border tourism, India supports a zero-tolerance approach toward tourism and calls for the adoption of the Comprehensive Convention of Internal Tourism, which is CCIT, first proposed by India at the UN in 1966.
15 seconds more.
Strengthening multilateralism. The UN
Delegates, your time is up. Okay, delegates of Morocco, the floor is yours. Please note that moving forward, the speaking time for each delegate is 130 seconds.
Honorable Chair and other esteemed guests, Morocco has made significant strides in education, particularly in primary enrollment, but still faces challenges in providing equitable access and consistent policy, especially in rural and disadvantaged areas. These disparities are often due to socio-economic factors, geographical location, and lack of resources. Despite efforts like expanding infrastructure and implementing social support programs, issues like inadequate infrastructure, teacher shortages, limited learning materials, and the digital divide persist. Vulnerable groups, including children with disabilities and those from low-income families, continue to face barriers. Morocco is committed to addressing these challenges, though its national motive. To bridge the gaps, Morocco proposes a multi-pronged approach, innovative pedagogical approaches, adopting blending learning, personalized pathways, and activity-based learning, digital inclusion, expanding internet connectivity to schools, providing affordable digital devices, developing online educational content, and
15
training
seconds more.
educators in digital literacy. Morocco believes that ensuring equitable access to quality education is crucial for national development and
Delegates of the House, the floor is yours.
Groups like the NYCA, Nepalese Youth for Climate Action, are training youth climate leaders and are campaigning for stronger environmental policies, showcasing the resilience of Nepali youth. More people are now pursuing studies in sustainability, environmental science, and renewable energy. Nepal is working to integrate climate literacy so that young people are prepared for green jobs. The country also hopes to enhance forest and biodiversity protection with community forest programs. Nepal seeks global partnerships that provide funding, technology, and mentorship for youth-led green initiatives. Nepal calls on nations to invest in climate education, green skills training, and youth-led startups so we may accelerate the just transition to renewable energy and achieve our shared goal of net zero emissions. In conclusion, Nepal remains committed to climate action through empowering youth, renewable energy, and strong global partnerships. With a collective effort, innovation, and resilience, Nepal believes a sustainable future is obtainable. Thank you.
Honorable Chairman and esteemed delegates, Canada strongly believes that the sustainable development and peace are mutually reinforced. The presence of violence, conflict, and instability significantly undermines development efforts and impedes the realization of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These conflicts often across the globe, millions of people are affected by armed conflict, civil unrest, terrorism, and state fragility. Countries such as Sudan, Haiti, Ukraine, and regions across the Shield continues to face instability that jeopardizes human security and sustainable development. This conflict often exacerbates gender-based violence, hinders education, reduces access to healthcare, and limits the democratic participation. Furthermore, climate change and pandemics like COVID-19 has intensified existing the urgency of resilient peace-building approaches. Past actions include peace and sustainable cooperation programs.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, the Republic of Serbia supports the World Health Organization's efforts to improve healthcare access and achieve universal health coverage. While Serbia has a national health system, there are challenges such as unequal access in rural areas and high out-of-pocket costs. The country is working on healthcare reforms like digitalization and improving primary care. Serbia encourages innovative solutions, including telemedicine, mobile clinic, and regional cooperation. It supports using international aid to fund healthcare. Serbia is committed to equity, innovation, and collaboration to make healthcare more accessible for all. Thank you.
Delegates of Hungary, first.
Honorable Chair and delegates, the Republic of Hungary recognizes health as a fundamental human right and supports sustainable development globally. As while Hungary's public health care system offers universal coverage, challenges regional inequalities, However, access gaps persist, especially in rural areas, and out-of-pocket costs for medicine and diagnosis remain high. Hungary proposes strengthening primary and community care by deploying mobile clinics, training community health workers, and expanding the role of family doctors. It also supports investment in digital health through telemedicine, which allows specialists remotely consult with patients in AI-based diagnostics, which provide tools in public hospitals, especially radiology and pathology, and data-driven public health planning. Additionally, Hungary recommends increased public health campaigns, mental health access, and fair health financing through delegations. Thank you.
Delegates of Germany, the floor is yours. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, the Republic of Germany recognizes that without peace, sustainable development is impossible. Conflict and violence destroy economies, displace populations, and deprive millions of access to basic services, undermining global progress on the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 16, calling for peaceful, just, and inclusive societies. Conflict over 1.9 billion people affect over 1.9 people and over 100 million forcibly displaced as of 2024. In 2023 alone, over 170 million people were forcibly displaced due to violence, prosecution, or natural disasters, many of which were worsened by instability and climate-related threats. Germany supports integrated approaches that address root causes of conflict, including inequality, corruption, and marginalization. For instance, the Federal Foreign Office has launched a stabilization platform, a cross-sectoral initiative that strengthens global governance, civil society, and rule of law in countries like Iraq, Libya, and Mali. Germany children, women, and refugees are to prioritize in conflict response. Climate resilience, human rights, and governance are the UNSC must act and decisively to prevent conflict from escalating. Germany urges UNSC to treat violence and instability not just as a threat, but as direct obstacles to sustainable development. Peace must be protected. Thank you. Delegates of Algeria, the floor is yours.
The People's Democratic Republic of Algeria acknowledges the crucial need for economic growth and sustainable employment, particularly through industrialization that is innovative, inclusive, and environmentally responsible. As a nation with a historically resource-dependent economy, Algeria recognizes both the urgency and opportunity in transitioning towards a diversified industrial base. Algeria supports international and knowledge sharing, especially through regional and multilateral institutions, to ensure that
they, to ensure that industrialization not only supports national development but also addresses global challenges such as climate change and awareness. We rely heavily on hydrocarbons, particularly oil and natural gas, which accounts for over 90% of export revenues and a significant portion of government income. This dependency has made the Algerian economy highly vulnerable to fluctuations in global energy prices. In the past, industrial development policies have been centralized and state-driven, with limited involvement from the private sector and foreign investors. While these efforts did lead to some industrial base formation in the 1970s and 1980s, the lack of diversification, innovation, and value-added manufacturing limited long-term successes. Additionally, employment has not grown at the pace of the working age population, with youth unemployment consistently high, around 30% in recent years.
The speakers list is still open. Is there any delegates who would want to come up here? If you have not read your position paper, if you have not read your position paper and you would like to read it, please raise your hand. Delegates of Japan, you are very recognized. Delegates of Egypt, you are very recognized. Delegates of Croatia, you are very recognized. Delegates of Delegates of Japan, the Lord Jesus.
Climate change remains one of the most pressing challenges facing the international communities. Raising global temperatures, extreme weather events, and sea level rise are exerting unprecedented pressure on both ecosystem and human societies. As a geographically vulnerable island, acutely aware of the direct and long-term impact of climate change, including frequent typhoons, flooding, and the disruption of agricultural systems. Japan affirms that effective climate actions must be global, inclusive, and innovation-driven, with a special emphasis on empowering youth as key stakeholders and change makers in advancing sustainability solutions. Thank you.
Delegates of Egypt, the Lord Jesus. Delegates of Zambia, you are out of order.
Egypt firmly believes that inventive and sustainable industrialization is key to accelerating economic growth and creating quality employment opportunities. As a member of the ECOFIN community, Egypt is committed to advancing industrial policies that not only boost productivity and innovation, but also ensures environmental sustainability and social inclusiveness. Industrialization holds the potential to transform Egypt's economy by diversifying its industrial base, enhancing competitiveness, and addressing unemployment, especially to young women and the youth. Background: Historically, Egypt's industrial sector has been constitutive of its economy and contributing significantly to GDP and employment. However, in recent decades, the sector has faced challenges such as limited technological innovation, a large informal economy, and environmental concerns. Recognizing these issues, Egypt launched Vision 2030, a national strategy focused on sustainable development. Recognize which highlights industrialization as a priority for economic diversification and job creation. The strategy aligns with global sustainable development goals, particularly SDG 8 and SDG 9.
Delegates of Croatia, the floor is yours.
Dear Chair, the Republic of Croatia recognizes the increasing financial flows (IFFs) seriously challenge global development and economic fairness. This illegal movement of money deprives developing countries of vital public funds. Combating IFFs is essential to achieving sustainable development and reducing inequality worldwide. Illicit financial flow typically involves money gained through illegal means and transferred out countries to avoid taxes, regulations, or protections. These flows can come from corruption, tax evasion, money laundering, and trade misinvoicing. Developing countries lose billions of dollars each year, which could be used for healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Although international
You have 15 seconds more.
Although international frameworks like Addis Ababa Action Agenda and UN Conventions against Corruption aim to address IFS.
Delegates of Philippines, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the Philippines faces persistent barriers to healthcare access, especially in rural and underserved areas. Despite the universal healthcare, disparities in infrastructure, workforce, and health literacy remain. To achieve the true universal reach communities. Public health centers initiatives such as recourse clinics provide health outreach services in construction. To realize the universal health care, the Philippines must integrate technology, strengthen grassroots and health care, and also prioritize prevention. These innovations not only improve access but also reduce long-term health costs and promote well-being.
Okay.
The delegate of Kazakhstan rises to the motion to start the general debate.
If you're for the motion, please raise your placard. He wants to adjourn the General Assembly and start the debate. If you are for the motion, please raise your placard. This motion fails because we did not meet the 2/3 needed to. Delegates of Zambia.
The delegates of Zambia would like to rise to a point of order to correct the chair in a mistake in procedure. When delegates were reading their position papers, at some point the chair stopped giving a warning for 15 seconds, which I believe was a mistake.
Delegates of Zambia, your suggestion has been recommended. Delegates of Tunisia. The floor is yours.
Delegates of Tunisia would also like to the chair is supposed to ask us
So I asked. No, I asked and the motion. Are there any motions on the floor? Delegates of Algeria.
Unmoderated purposes are for committee meetings. At the moment, on our timeline, we have a debate, and we will need one of the delegates to rise to the point and give a motion to begin the debate. Is there any delegates who would like to do so? Okay, the delegates of Serbia. Thank you very much. All those in favor to begin the debate, please lift your placards. Kindly vote to read the 2/3. So this motion clearly passes. So those who are participating in the debate have 5 minutes to gather their points. And now we are free to move around. Thank you very much. Please, you are not allowed to leave the